The technology produced by the LSU AgCenter is great for farmers and consumers who use it, but also for the LSU AgCenter itself. Millions of dollars come back into the AgCenter each year in royalty payments, and that money goes back directly into funding more research.
This week, TWILA's Karl Wiggers takes us to Patently, Louisiana, to the rice research station there for our first installment of Patently Louisiana.
Rice and gumbo go hand in hand, but before it's in your bowl, it's grown here. And even before it's in the field, it starts right here.
Rice is the third major crop in Louisiana from the standpoint most years of acreage and as well gross farm value. Most of the rice varieties that are grown in the state come from the H. Caffey Rice Research Station, where I've made my career.
Steve Linscomb is the director of that station, where he also works heavily in the lab. He and his researchers have received numerous patents for different varieties of their Clearfield rice. One of those researchers breeding new varieties of rice is Adam Famoso.
So the efforts here at the breeding program are to develop new and improved superior rice varieties for the producers and the rice industry of Louisiana. Every variety has a weakness, so we're always looking to improve on what's out there, what's available to the growers, and what's will be the most profitable.
The breeding program in Crowley happens here in the lab and also out in the field.
The lab is a way to kind of supplement what we do in the field. It allows us to make selections and advancements throughout the year, and it also lets us to make selections on traits that would be too difficult to do on large scales.
The lab allows Famoso and his team to look at thousands of plants a day. This allows them to put a higher quality plant into the field.
We can run 40,000 samples through the lab a day and evaluate those lines for blast or a grain quality or aroma. It's not feasible to cook 40,000 samples of rice a day to evaluate it for aroma, and it's not possible to screen for blast that many lines in a day. So what it allows us essentially to look for some of the more complex traits at the early stages of the breeding program when we normally wouldn't be able to do that in the field. Kind of allows us to stack the deck of what we actually put in the field.
The lab helps the team decide what to put into the field, but it's the field that decides if the variety will go to the farm.
If the lab tells us this should be a great variety, but the field says otherwise, then that variety is not released. But the lab is something we do in the beginning stages of the breeding program, but the last few years is all field-based. So the lab is a complement to what we do in the field.
What these researchers are producing here at the station are rice varieties that actually make it to the farm.
This technology has been extremely important to the state of Louisiana. In fact, 60% of our rice acreage this past year was in Clearfield type varieties.
However, Linscomb says Clearfield varieties are not only grown here in Louisiana. 12 countries around the world grow Clearfield rice that is developed right here in Louisiana.
Famoso says what he loves most is working alongside the farmers and helping them own their farms. This is what makes LSU AgCenter so great for Louisiana agriculture. The work that begins in a lab is soon taken to the field, and the farmer himself becomes part of the research team. And Avery, Kristen, I got to see that growing up on the farm back at home with Dad and the way he worked with the LSU AgCenter there in Winsboro.
Now, I'm sure y'all had some test plots out there on the farm.
We did. And I mean, we had researchers all the time on the farm, and Dad would be going to Winsboro, and you could just see hand in hand, Dad couldn't do what he did on the farm without the work the researchers did, and likewise, the researchers couldn't do at the research station what they needed without Dad and what he does at the farm. It was just, the way they work together is just, it's really neat and really important to both of their works.
Well, I know what's going to be really neat is your next installment in this series, so thank you very much, Karl Wiggers.